already shown you how to do the knit stitch when you're knitting with the Continental method. In this video, I'm going to show you the purl stitch. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. With Continental knitting, you're going to hold your working yarn in your left hand. So I pick it up with my pinky, I let it wrap around once, go under my two middle fingers and over my index finger. The stitches will be in my left hand. For the purl stitch, you want your working yarn to be in front of your work here. I'm going to insert my right hand needle down into that first loop. My yarn's going to wrap around and I'm going to push it up through that loop and slide the existing stitch off. So I'm going down, wrapping my yarn over. Notice I'm using my index finger to just hold that yarn down in place, pulling it up through that loop and letting the existing stitch slide off. Going down, wrapping the yarn over, pulling that loop through, slide the existing stitch off. Last one. Okay, so I just completed one row of purl stitches, and this piece of fabric is stockinette stitch. That means I have knitted one row and purled the next row. So for this row, I will simply knit across. Notice that for the knit stitch, my yarn is behind my work. And I'm able to just pick up that stitch and pull it through. Okay, so it's time to turn my work again, and I know I need to purl across these stitches. So I'm wrapping the yarn around my pinky and over my index finger. My needle is inserted from the top, going down through that stitch. Wrap the yarn over and pull it through. Now, when I am knitting Continental method and I need to purl, I'm going to show you what I generally do. Instead of wrapping the yarn over like this, I take my needle over the yarn and pull that piece of yarn up through the loop. So I go down, bring my needle over, and pull it up. So it's a little quicker. However, the only issue with this is that when you go to knit back across the next row, you're going to have to knit into the back loop. Because of the way I pulled my yarn through by taking my needle over the yarn, because the way my yarn was wrapped around the needle, it caused these loops to be on my needle in this direction rather than this direction as they should be. Now, if I were to knit across these stitches, as usual, all of these stitches here would be twisted. So because of the way I just purled those stitches, I'm going to have to knit into the back loop, which simply means that I'm inserting my needle into the back strand rather than up through the front. So this is how I would knit across these stitches to keep them from being twisted. Okay, so notice that the piece of yarn here is closest to me. That one is a little further away. So I want to go into that loop there. And knit across.